To close out Black History Month, our midday movie critics wanted to create a suggested viewing list to celebrate Black women on screen and behind the camera, and to remind people that celebrating Black film does not have to end on February 28th. Once again, I'd like to welcome back KPBS Cinema Junkie Beth Accomando and Moviewallas' podcaster, Yazdi Pithavala. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, to start this list, you both wanted to highlight an actress. And Beth, do you want to reveal who this actress is?
Yes, and I think what I'd like to do, like instead of a drum roll to announce her, I want to just play this trailer as an intro.
When Foxy Brown comes to town, all the brothers gather round, 'cause she can really shake 'em down. Pam Grier, that one chick hit squad who creamed you as coffee, is back to do a job on the mob as Foxy Brown.
You tell me who you want done, and I'll do the hell out of it.
A chick with drive who don't take no jive.
That woman, she's crazy. There's no telling what she'll do.
And there is no telling what Pam Grier will do. There might be other actresses whose body of work has been more honored, but I will say Pam Grier is not only a fine actress who's proven that in a number of films, but she is also a pop culture icon, and that has so much power to it. I mean, Cicely Tyson and Ruby Dee might have more awards, but you are not seeing their faces on T-shirts today. They are not having retrospectives of their films, but Pam Grier is someone who is still celebrated on the screen. People still will come out to her movies. I got to see her in person up in Portland, and when I saw her in Portland, she talked about getting her first job, which was with Roger Corman, and they sent her off to the Philippines for a shoot, and the plane was driving over, and they said, "I'm going to slow down for you to jump out." And she said, "What are you talking about?" And he says, "No, I'm serious." And he said, "I'm sorry, you missed your chance. I'm going to circle back around. Either you jump out with your bag or you have to take a 2-hour bus to get to the location." So he slowed down and she jumped out, and she started a career in movies and eventually, made it into a lot of very well-known blaxploitation films like Coffee, Foxy Brown, Friday Foster.
The story of resilience there. But Seelan, this is why you can't just pick one actress, because Cicely Tyson is perfection. Now,
She is.
mean, there's so
a different
many
kind of
to pick.
perfection.
Yeah, so many great actresses. But Grier made a number of very successful blaxploitation films, as you said, and that was in the 70s. But these films are sometimes criticized for being, as their name implies, exploitative.
Yes. And, there are a range of blaxploitation films. I do think that Pam Grier's best films like Coffee and Foxy Brown stand the test of time. But, these films open the doors to a lot of Black artists. People like Gordon Parks got his first opportunity to direct for a major Hollywood studio. People like Jim Brown and Richard Roundtree made it in. And I would argue that these films also helped pave the way for directors like John Singleton, Spike Lee, and even now Ryan Coogler. And I will say, a lot of Pam Grier's films, she's forced to strip down or take abuse. But the thing you remember is that she triumphs over all these people and she kicks some major ass. And I was a young girl in the 70s, and her image was really impactful to me. And I loved being able to see someone who had this kind of power and force. And as I mentioned, one of her best films was Foxy Brown. And in this scene, she approaches a group which is fashioned after the Black Panther Party, and she basically wants them to help her fight drugs and corruption coming from this white mob.
What is it you really want?
Justice.
For whom, your brother?
Why not? It could be your brother, too. Or your sister. Or your children. I want justice for all of them. And I want justice for all the other people whose lives are bought and sold so that a few big shots can climb up on their backs and laugh at the law and laugh at human decency. And most of all, I want justice for a good man. This man had love in his heart. And he died because he went out of his neighborhood to try to do what he thought was right.
Sister, I think what you're asking for is revenge.
You just take care of the justice, and I'll handle the revenge myself.
Well, you just preach it, Pam. Okay. Now, Yazdi, you are also a fan of Grier. What is it that you like about her?
Yeah, two things. One is, as Beth mentioned, it is that her sexuality was a big part of her power in all of her films. And she kind of rode that proudly through the 70s and 80s female liberation movement. So she never tried to kind of disown it or disassociate it. She kind of embraced it, as Beth mentioned earlier. And Quentin Tarantino rightly called her the first female action star of American cinema, which is not bad for someone who started as a receptionist in Los Angeles. And along those lines, the second point is that she has survived over decades. I mean, here we are, in 2025, and we are still speaking about her. Even after, her heydays with the blaxploitation films, she was a regular on Miami Vice on television. She was in action films with Steven Seagal in the late 1980s. And Tarantino, after having come off this huge high following the success of Pulp Fiction, gave her the lead role in his next film, which was Jackie Brown. And again, she's continued supporting roles in a variety of films, including movies from Tim Burton, as well as John Carpenter. She was in Mars Attacks, as well as Ghosts of Mars, which kind of reflects the love that all of these filmmakers have had for her. And to give you an example, here is a really crackling scene of Jackie Brown asserting herself during an interrogation in the film Jackie Brown.
What in the bag she gave you?
She didn't give me a bag. Melanie was not a part of the plan. Ordell probably told her to do it. That's why she came into the dressing room, grabbed the bag, took off, but I couldn't go after her because I was in my fucking underwear. And I had to put on this suit because I could put it on faster than my uniform.
You had time to pay the sales chick?
I had to. Ray, I was frantic. What was I supposed to do?
All right, what you do after that?
I went looking for you. And I went back to the place in the mall where you were before, but you weren't there. What was I supposed to do if something happens? You didn't tell me how to do that, did you?
There's a guy with Melanie?
There was nobody in the fitting room.
Okay. You have no idea about $50,000. You're clueless about the money, right? You have no idea what the 50 grand.
I have no idea.
None. You have no idea. You don't know. It could have gone here. Could have
No,
gone
I
there. You
don't
don't
know.
know.
I know nothing. Not a clue. I don't have an idea where the motherfucking money is.
Not even a little idea, maybe.
Not even a little tiny motherfucking idea.
Take a polygraph on.
Yeah, if a motherfucker make you happy. Yeah, put it right there. I'll do it.
There are a lot of other Black actresses that deserve shout-outs in addition to Grier, but we're going to move on to highlight some Black women behind the camera. Beth, who do you want to highlight in Spotlight today?
Yes, so because people seem to have a short-term memory, I always like to go back a little further in the past to kind of remind people of some groundbreaking work that's been done that maybe isn't as well known these days. So I want to highlight Julie Dash, who directed the 1991 film Daughters of the Dust. This is noteworthy as being the first full-length feature film directed by an African-American woman that got a general theatrical release in the U.S. It's a gorgeous film, and it recently got a new 4K restoration. This film is set in 1902. It's kind of a poetic, nonlinear film. It serves up a fictionalized account of a Gula family who lives off the coast of southeastern United States. And in this scene, there's a character who recounts a tale of slave resistance from 1803.
The slavery time, the war my grand always talk about. Those Igbo didn't miss a thing. Even seeing you and me standing here talk. When they got through sizing up the place real good and seeing what was to come, my grand said they turned. All of them. And walked back in the water. Every last man, woman, and child. Now you wouldn't think they'd get very fast, seeing as it was water they was walk on. Had all that iron upon her. Upon their ankle and their wrist, and fastened round their neck like dog collar. But chain didn't stop those evil none. They just kept walk like the water was solid ground.
So Julie Dash hasn't made a lot of feature films recently. She had announced doing a biopic of Angela Davis, which I hope happens, but most of her work these days has been directing television.
Wow, and that would be great. And Yazdi, which director would you like to highlight?
So I want to highlight Casey Lemmons, whose most celebrated work is the movie Eve's Bayou. Casey Lemmons started as a very hardworking actress through most of the 80s and early 90s, and incidentally, she was in the original 1992 Candyman film as an actress. And then with Eve's Bayou in 1997, incidentally the same year that Jackie Brown came out. And Eve's Bayou is this gorgeous Southern Gothic melodrama with Lynn Whitfield and Samuel L. Jackson. And if anybody has not seen this, boy, are they in for a treat. It's really worth seeking out. It's a gorgeous, beautiful film with so much surrealism and mysteries, and it's just a very complete piece of work. She followed up with the movie Caveman's Valentine, also with Samuel L. Jackson, which was less of a commercial success, but still a movie that holds up very well. And then her other film, which is also very well regarded, is Talk to Me with Don Cheadle, playing Ralph Petey Grier, who was an incarcerated man who became a talk show host and then a major political activist in the 60s. I cannot wait for her to get back and do more films. By way of an introduction to Eve's Bayou, here's a clip from the movie with Samuel L. Jackson and Jurnee Smollett playing father and daughter.
You love Mama?
Your mama is the most beautiful, perfect woman I ever met. Your mama's a lady, and I'll always love her. Always. Understand?
Daddy?
Yes, baby.
How come you never dance with me?
Baby, how can you say your daddy never dances with you?
When we're alone and stuff, but not at parties. You always dance with Cicely.
Tell you what, from now on, we'll dance at every party, right?
Wow, a very young Jurnee Smollett
Yes,
there.
yes.
And Yazdi, the other movie that you mentioned too, Talk to Me, the story of Petey Green, one of my favorites. The best line in that movie was, "He's a corner pimp who I wouldn't trust to wash my car, but y'all done elected him." Wow, does that apply to so many things? Okay. Beth, your next director pick also made her debut in the 1990s, along with Julie Dash and Casey Lemmon. Who is she?
So this is Cheryl Dunye, and she was part of the queer new wave of the 1990s. So she kind of was jumping multiple hurdles as a female filmmaker, a black filmmaker, and a queer filmmaker. And Watermelon Woman was her feature film debut, and it's still my favorite of hers. It's the most innovative and most interesting. Like Julie Dash, she mostly directs TV nowadays, but Watermelon Woman was this kind of self-reflexive film examining not just herself as an artist, but also the medium of film itself and also representation. So this is a clip from the film in which Dunye plays a young woman who is about to make a film, a documentary about an actress she has discovered.
Hi, I'm Cheryl, and I'm a filmmaker. I'm not really a filmmaker, but I have a videotaping business with my friend Tamara, and I work at a video store, so I'm working on being a filmmaker. The problem is I don't know what I want to make a film on. I know it has to be about black women because our stories have never been told, so I've been renting movies. No, I haven't been renting movies, but I get movies from the video store that I work at, and I've taken all these films out from the 30s and 40s with black actresses in them, like Hattie McDaniel and Louise Beavers. And In these films, in some of the films, the black actresses aren't even listed in the credits, and I was just totally shocked by that. So in this one film that came into the store, Plantation Memories, I saw the most beautiful black mammy named Elsie. Her name, the Watermelon Woman. That's right, Watermelon Woman. Is Watermelon Woman her first name, her last name, or is it her whole name? I don't know, but girlfriend has it going on, and I think I've figured out what my project's gonna be on. I'm gonna make a movie about her. I'm gonna find out what her real name is, who she was and is, everything I can find out about her. Because something in her face, something in the way she looks and moves is serious, is interesting. And I'm gonna just tell you all about it.
Yazdi, you have a director who made her feature debut in 2000. Who is that?
That would be Gina Prince-Bythewood, who made her directorial debut with the wonderful movie Love and Basketball. What I like about her is her versatility. She obviously started with making this wonderfully grounded rom-com by way of Love and Basketball. And again, if nobody's seen it, what a wonderful film to discover. But at the same time, she's also made more edgy movies like Beyond the Lights, which is a wonderful contemporary exploration of race and celebrity, something that a lot of filmmakers have not assessed. And then most recently, Gina Prince-Bythewood has been very successful by taking on full-bodied, full-blooded action films for Hollywood. She made the excellent action thriller The Old Guard with Charlize Theron, which is still on Netflix, and then most recently the Viola Davis starring The Woman King in 2022. And here's a clip from the trailer for The Woman King.
An evil is coming that threatens our kingdom, our freedom. But we have a weapon they are not prepared for.
My king, the Europeans wish to conquer us. They will not stop until the whole of Africa is theirs. We must fight back for our people.
Haneska, you are asking me to take them to war. War.
Some things are worth fighting for.
I mean, intensely good movie. You can hear it just in the trailer. But for me, it's like anything with Ava DuVernay or Lena Waithe. I am so into that. But, these are all some impressive women. Are there any young new female black directors we should have on our radar to see what they do next?
Too many, I think. But I will highlight a couple of them that I've discovered in 2023. They both made their feature film debut that year. A.V. Rockwell, who did 1001, and then poet Raven Jackson made All Dirt Roads Taste of Salt. And that was just such a gorgeous visual poem, and as a first-time director, her assurance in how she put that film together was just amazing. These are women who have made one film that was remarkable. I can't wait to see what they do next. But there are actually quite a few women whose work is coming up that I am looking forward to as well. I mean, an actress like Regina King has tried her hand at directing. So there's a lot of hope and potential on the horizon here.
A lot of things to really be excited about. Yazdi, what about you?
Like Beth, I'm so excited with, so many young female black directors who have, come up with remarkably assured debut films. I love the work of Rain Allen Miller, who is a British writer and filmmaker, and she debuted with the movie Rye Lane, which is streaming on Hulu, which is this gorgeous love story where these two black characters meet and walk through the streets of London for a day. And that's all the movie is. But it makes you fall in love with London. It makes you fall in love with both of these characters. It kind of, inverts typical romantic tropes, and best of all, that movie knows how to light dark-skinned lead actors. These actors are gorgeously lit, and it's such a treat to watch the movie, and I cannot wait to see what she does next. I was also very impressed by Janiska Bravo, who made Zola, the movie which came out just a couple of years ago, about the wildest road trip that you can think of. And that movie was actually based, shockingly, in reality, based on a whole bunch of tweets that were posted by a Florida woman. And Zola, again, is such a wild ride that I would recommend to anyone. So again, another filmmaker. I'm eager to see what she does next.
All of these sound fantastic. I want to thank our midday movie critics, KPBS Cinema Junkie Beth Accomando and Moviewallas' podcaster Yazdi Pithavala. You can watch our Midday Movies podcast now on the KPBS YouTube channel to see clips from all the films. You can also find a more detailed list of the films at Beth's Cinema Junkie blog at kpbs.org. Beth and Yazdi, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jade.
And we will go out with Pam Grier singing Longtime Woman from The Big Doll House, which Quentin Tarantino then used in Jackie Brown.
I'm a long-time woman, and I'm serving my time. I've been locked away so long now, I've forgotten my crime. Been working on the road now, I've been